Megan had spent the entire evening at the hospital, sitting by her mother's bedside. It had been a long, exhausting day, and as visiting hours came to an end, she finally decided to head home. The hospital corridors were eerily quiet, bathed in dim artificial light. The scent of antiseptic lingered in the air, and the distant beeping of medical monitors was the only sound breaking the silence. She made her way toward the elevator at the end of the hall, her footsteps echoing faintly. Pressing the button, she exhaled, rubbing her tired eyes. The soft ding of the elevator arriving broke the heavy stillness. The doors slid open, revealing an empty cabin. Megan stepped inside and pressed the button for the lobby. The doors closed and the elevator began its slow descent. She leaned against the wall, already thinking about collapsing into bed when she got home. But then, a whisper. It was faint, barely audible, yet unmistakable. Her body stiffened. She turned her head slowly, scanning the small space. The elevator was still empty, wasn't it? The lights flickered. The floor indicator above the doors froze. Then, without warning, the elevator shuddered to a halt. Megan's breath hitched. She pressed the buttons, trying to get it moving again. Nothing. Her pulse quickened. She wasn't alone anymore. A soft shuffling sound came from the corner of the elevator, bare feet against the cold metal floor. Her stomach twisted. She turned slowly and froze. A woman stood in the corner of the elevator, her back turned to Megan. Her long black hair hung limply, covering her face. She wore a thin hospital gown, stained and torn. Her bare feet were pale and bruised. Megan's throat went dry. She hadn't seen this woman step in. She was sure the elevator had been empty when she entered. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Are you okay?" The woman didn't move. Then she lifted her head ever so slightly. Her lips began to move, forming silent words that Megan couldn't understand. The lights flickered again. The walls of the elevator seemed to pulse, the air growing heavy, suffocating. Then, the woman turned. Megan's breath caught in her throat. The woman's eyes were hollow, sunken, and lifeless. Her mouth twisted into an unnatural grin. The whispering grew louder, overlapping voices, chaotic and distorted. The woman took a step toward her, her bare feet making no sound. Megan slammed her hand against the buttons in panic. "No, no, no, come on!" A sharp, shrill screech filled the elevator. The doors suddenly slid open. Without thinking, Megan bolted out into the empty hospital lobby. Her breath came in ragged gasps as she turned back. The elevator was empty. The doors closed smoothly and the soft ding echoed through the air as it continued downward, as if nothing had happened. Megan never spoke about what she saw that night, but whenever she returned to the hospital, she avoided that elevator. And sometimes, late at night as she passed by, she could swear she heard it again. A whisper, just before the doors slid shut.